Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today I have an engagement report for you, and I have Alexandra Harper here, and she just got engaged to Lucas. And Alexandra Harper, you may know her from Selling the OC, and she is a Southern belle with strong Christian roots, hailing all the way from vibrant city of Nashville, Tennessee. With her charming accent and warm personality, she undoubtedly brings a touch of Southern hospitality wherever she goes. Alexandra is no stranger to competition, always pushing herself to excel in new realms, even if they may seem unfamiliar at first. And after graduating from the University of Tennessee, she decided to dive headfirst into the pageant world and won the coveted title of Miss Tennessee USA in 2018, a title she also shares with her mother Sharon, who was crowned in 1981. Alexandra continues on to showcase her ability on a national stage at the prestigious Miss USA competition, where she placed in the top 10. Venturing beyond the world of pageantry, Alexandra has also thrived as a top sales executive in both broadcast news and technology sales, served as a communications director for a political campaign, was a contributing writer and editor of a country music news outlet, started her own business as a freelance website designer, and most recently began capitalizing on her love for cooking, fashion, and beauty through creating social media content and working with brands. Some of her most recent partnerships include Big Sexy Hair, Adidas, Marley Spoon, Caraway Kitchen, and Minted. She and her fiance Lucas live in Nashville together and are currently balancing his already hectic travel schedule with her constant everyday chaos, being a full time content creator. Oh, and planning a big, beautiful Southern wedding for March 15th, 2024. So, welcome, Alexandra.
Hi, welcome 2025. Because if it was
Oh,
2024, I would be at
2025. You're
school.
right. Typo there. My bad.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Alyssa.
Yes, I am so excited to chat with you. I saw that you're getting married in Nashville, which is where I'm at too. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I would love to chat with her. And yeah, I was catching up on some seasons of Selling the OC, which is such a fun show. I would just love to know, like, what was your experience like working on that show, like going back and forth from Nashville to LA? And is there a season 4 coming out?
Oh, where to start? My experience being on the show was incredible. I mean, and completely life changing. I'm so thankful for the opportunity, but and it happened in a very bizarre way. I mean, I don't think that you know still to this day, I'm like answering the question of no, I don't know exactly how to explain this to you, but yes, I ended up like knowing the producers because I was on a previous show before called Music City like 7 years ago. Adam
Wow.
DeVello, who created Laguna Beach and the Hills, he created Selling Sunset as well. So literally, it was almost it'll be 2 years in this upcoming February. I got a phone call because we always catch up. We've always stayed in touch. And he just said, would you want to entertain this possibility? And I basically said, like, are you on acid? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not even a realtor. I live in Nashville. I,
Yeah.
but yeah, I ended up like testing with the cast up there. And honestly, like, it was one of those things where I was like, there's no, like this would never even make sense. Like this was fun, but this would never make sense. And genuinely, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do the show. It just didn't make any sense to me. And it
Mhm.
still doesn't, but it was such a God thing. It was like the next morning I woke up and I just felt called to go. Um, and it just has opened up every single realm of opportunity. So I moved there for 3.5 months and formed incredible relationships. Kayla is my best friend. She's a maid of honor in my wedding.
Oh my
And
gosh, that's awesome.
I'm very, very close with Brandy. She'll also be there as well. And Rose is a bridesmaid in my wedding.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so cool that it's like you were able to establish all those connections through the show and to just have them in your wedding now and
Not wild.
involved so much in your life. Like, what a cool you're right, God thing, like opportunity that just came about that you really weren't expecting,
Right.
and you just said yes to it and went along for the ride, and to just see, the opportunities that it's brought you now has been so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Oh,
That's
thank you
awesome.
so much. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah. And then you were Miss Tennessee. And how cool is it that you're like following in your mother's footsteps? Like, what was all of that like?
I know, as if the apple doesn't already fall far from the tree. And I seriously am my mother's daughter. Oh my gosh, God bless my sweet father for just like having both of us just at the same time. We are the yin and he is the yang. Like my mom and I could not be any more different than my dad, and vice versa. Just in terms of personality, like because my dad is so grounding and very um he's not eccentric and dramatic like we are, but it just it was it was everything. It was so fun, and it was again one of those things that opened up a so many doors of opportunity. I never grew up doing pageantry. I wasn't like doing it as a child or anything like that. I competed twice in Miss Tennessee, and the first time, once again, I said, I'm never doing this again. And that was right out of college. And truly and literally, within like a year and a half, it's like I just started having people come up to me, like in the grocery store or something, and asking, hey, you should do Miss Tennessee again. I'm like, what? Why? Like, why is this happening? But again, it was a God thing. So
Hmm.
it was so amazing. And one of the misconceptions I always want to address is, pageantry, especially in the Miss USA system, which is like you're around 50 stunning, intelligent, brilliant women. And, you know, it's such an intimidating thing going into. But realistically, again, I met some of my closest friends, like Miss Georgia, Marianne, and I are still close. And it was just a wonderful experience being around women like that. And especially, it's kind of cool that, my mom and I are, I think we're the only or one of the two only mother daughter pairings from like the same state. So
No
it is
way.
something very neat that she vicariously lived through me that year for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And like just to have her like kind of in your back pocket, like knowing how the pageant world works and to just like kind of help you alongside and go through that journey, I'm sure was like super helpful and just really cool for you and for her to see how, now it's like you have to have a daughter and then she'll be Miss Tennessee too, right? Like,
I know my cousin Lacey, her daughter Charlotte is she's like 9, and she's like such an old soul and so mature, and I'm just like, girl, I'm just going to start just breeding you to be Miss Tennessee USA because she's like my little protege. She's great.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so fun. That's so cool that, yeah, like now little girls can look up to you because,
Oh,
if they're in the pageant world and want to do something like that. And, just having that platform in general, I think is so cool. And for that whole year of like 2018 to 19, I'm sure you're just involved in so many like charities and different opportunities that kind of come your way and meeting a lot of really cool people. And so
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, so let's dive into your story with Lucas. So, how did you guys even meet?
Well, funny story. We were actually neighbors.
No way.
We were,
In Nashville?
yeah,
Okay.
we were both living at an apartment complex in Brentwood, and when I say that we were neighbors, like we weren't on different floors, like on opposite. We were literally next. Like there was one apartment in between
Wow.
us. So
No way.
yeah, kind of a roll the dice there. Like we were both like, well, if this doesn't work out, like this is probably going to be weird. But we actually were both living there at the time, I think for like 3 years or probably like 2.5 years. And like we were both dating other people. Like he like hung out with my boyfriend at the time in
No
the
way.
summer, like at the pool, like just having drinks and, you know, shooting it. And so then we both were single at the same time, and just like one thing led to another. And we were just like, well, I mean, he was just like, do you want to go get drinks? And I was like, I guess. I mean, the rest is history, but
Yeah.
we, had known each other before, obviously, so that was a huge plus, and
Mhm.
he is also from Nashville. He is 12 years older than me, and I always kind of envisioned myself with someone older just because I'm also an old soul, but also I just think that I need someone that is going to be older than me. Period.
Mhm.
And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But and it's been great. I mean, I think that just like having someone that you already kind of like knew someone's character, like that was a big plus in the whole dating process. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I don't want to be like, oh yeah, go date your neighbor, but it is something
Right.
that like don't miss out on a great opportunity, but at the same time
Yeah.
know that you know it does come with a like I had to like I'm a big walker, so I walk um like 4 to 5 miles a day, so I had to start like
Wow.
putting on bronzer on my face and make sure like my had some like lip gloss on or something. So it was those kind of things that
Yes.
made it a little bit odd, um, but we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, definitely. I know that is good advice. It's like you never know, like your future spouse could be like right under your nose. It could be your best friend right now, and
Right.
that's
No,
kind of what happened with you guys.
it's so true because I was single and had never been on like dating apps before. So like I'll be honest, I was like the bachelorette of Nashville. I went on a new
Hmm.
date with someone every night for 2.5 months. I
No
was exhausted. I'm not
way.
like it got to the point where guys would see me out with another guy that I had just gone
No
on a
way.
date with. Happened twice. And so
Wow.
and it didn't none of it went anywhere, but I had so much fun doing it, but it was a great way for me to, put my pros or my negotiables and my non-negotiables, like of who I want to
Hmm.
be with. Like I'm dating to marry, and everyone always said, "Well, Allie, you are just going to be able to meet someone organically." So never did I really
Hmm.
think that it would be my neighbor, but
Right. Yeah. Wow. And like that is kind of a good thing, like how you went on dates for like 2.5 months straight. Like, because like you said, you're kind of like vetting and getting to know like these are the characteristics that I'm looking for in a husband, and these are not the characteristics I'm
right,
looking for. And to be able to just maybe like have more clarity in your mind, like after dating that many people, like, just going on one date with them. Um, Probably helped you realize that Lucas was the one for you.
oh, 100%, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
mhm.
All right, so let's fast forward. You guys are dating. How did you guys get engaged? How did he propose? And tell us the whole story.
Girl, it's the most non-romantic, like,
Sometimes those are the most romantic, though.
well,
That's what I love about it.
it's so typical of me because I am just constant chaos. Like, I mean, like my friends have anxiety thinking about the stuff that happens to me on a daily basis because it's always a story. Like there's always some story. Like today that I was just telling you earlier about my
Yeah.
phone that's taking 23 hours to back up and I have the new phone in front. Like, huh? So anyways, I basically overheard. So our leases ended up being like ending at the same time almost, which was crazy. So the market at the time, like the housing market in Nashville, was actually booming. This was 2 years ago in July, or no, actually like in May, so about 2.5 years ago. And we were sort of pressed on time to get a house. And we did, and this is our home now, but we've lived here for about 2.5 years. And then, so come this past March, that's when we were engaged in March of 2024. But we had a really crazy last year, like to that point, like the year leading up to this past spring was wild for both of us. The show happened for me, which, I was living in California for 3.5 months. He had decided to get his master's program at the University of Tennessee, and which was actually like a quarterly go and travel the world kind of thing because he does global
Wow.
logistics. So he was even more gone than he already is gone, and I was gone. So there was so much going on. And
Yeah.
finally, it was after he graduated from his master's program, I was like, for the love of God, like what's happening? And
Right.
I just went in and I designed my own ring.
Wow.
And I knew that it was ready when it was ready because I was texting the jeweler. I was just like, let's just get this process sped up. Long story short, we ended up booking a last minute ticket to 30A in Florida, Rosemary Beach, which is my favorite place I go to like 4 or 5
So
times a
pretty.
year.
Yeah.
The night before, and so like I basically planned my own engagement. Like we both knew like why we were going on this weekend trip. Well, we get there, it is rainy, it's horrible, it's disgusting,
Oh,
and
sad.
um, so that was a wash for the first and second night. The second night, I was like, for sure, he's gonna have to propose tonight because why would he wait until the last night of the trip? That's torture. And if any men are listening to
Right.
this, do not do that. Don't put anyone through that. So, but
Do
he
it right
proposed,
away so you can enjoy the rest of the trip.
right? Like that's only it makes
Yeah.
sense. But because he waited to the very last day, um, the ring um got stuck inside of the safe in the resort that we
No.
were staying in. Um,
No.
and it was a Sunday, so IT wasn't able to come out until Monday morning, and I was like, well, that's not going to work because we're leaving tomorrow
Oh my
morning.
gosh,
So,
no way.
like long story short, finally, after many drinks and many hours, they called someone named Colt that lived 2 hours away. He got the ring out. And by that time, it was pouring down rain at 9:30 at night. We literally go to Rosemary Beach and are just walking around in the courtyard. It's pitch black and no one can even see us. And he just goes, is this good enough? And I was like, yes, for the love of God. So that was it. I mean, like
Oh
really
my
and truly, it's
gosh.
just such a typical. I mean, that was the longest day of my life, but
Oh
it
man.
is nothing short of typical.
Yeah, totally. What an adventure. But like also I feel like beach in the rain, like romantic,
Oh,
like
it like
courtyard,
wasn't the beach.
like
We like weren't on the beach because we couldn't go on the beach because the security guards that were in Rosemary said you can't go there.
oh, at night they're
So
like,
I
yeah.
literally just said, "I'm what do you think we're gonna do for like what do you think we're gonna do right now? It's 50 degrees. It's raining. Please." I was like, please allow us to go down there just in the boardwalk
Yeah.
for 5 seconds. That's all we need. And they
Mhm.
wouldn't allow nothing. So that's why we had to just it pitch black courtyard. No,
Yeah.
not even like one light, not even one witness.
Oh my gosh, what an adventure. That's so good though. That's like a story you're able to like pass down and tell your kids of like
That's what we
this is
kept
what
on.
happened. Like,
That's
yeah,
what we
if
kept
you
on
guys
trying
decide
to
to have
remind
kids.
ourselves.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be a funny story. It's going to be a funny story.
Oh yeah,
It is.
for sure.
It's fine now.
Oh my gosh. All right. So now you guys are in the wedding planning stages and you have been for a while. So what is all of that looking like? Like how many guests are you expecting? Are you already mentioned some of the familiar faces we might see at your wedding? Tell us all the scoop.
So we're having around, well, we're capping it at 250. So it is going to be like a larger wedding. But I'm an only child. So I'll just go ahead and like preface that. So my mom has been waiting for this moment for her whole life because
Oh
it's
yeah.
not my wedding, it's hers.
Mhm.
But we are getting married at a venue that they have kind of like packaged vendors. So like they're preferred vendors, which has made this process so much easier. And we're getting married on the property. The groomsmen and the bridesmaids' massive suites are both on the property. The ceremonies on the property, the receptions right there on the property, the cocktail hours all on the property. So it's very convenient in that matter. But yeah, I guess that my most like shocking moment of just wedding planning in general is like so I'm 31 right now, and so my friends started getting married probably when I was like 23, I think. So the last,
Mhm.
like 8 years, I've been going to so many weddings and have been in so many weddings, as I'm sure you have as well, Alyssa. But I
Mhm.
wish that I could go back and like appreciate every detail, every font, every linen, every
Yes.
like every single spoon or like bread basket. Like I wish that I could go back and appreciate those things, because it is crazy what goes into this. Like, I mean, what
Mhm.
goes into wedding planning, and like you would think that I would have had a lot of time, like, oh, a year. People are always like, oh yeah, we'll give a year. And I'm like, in especially in Nashville, which is like one of the most sought after places to, number one, live, but number two, to get married. You have
Mhm.
to book things so far in advance. And of course, with inflation and everything's an upcharge, everything.
Right. I
So
know.
it is, we're actually, as of like last week, um, our invitations are, again, just everything is meticulous detail. They are so handcrafted, and Minted is, I've partnered with Minted for my save the date and my
Yeah, they're
invitation.
great.
So they have been so helpful and just unbelievable. But that was kind of like the last big hump. So I have made it over
Yes. Woo.
over the big hump, thankfully.
Yes.
um,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, it's just, you hear it every single time that you're like, oh yeah, it's a lot, it's a lot, but and then there's like the weird lulls, like you
Mhm.
go go go, you book a venue, then you do this and you have all this, and then there's a lull, and then it's go go go, you're on deadlines, and then it's a lull. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really really fun though, going through this with my mom, because let's be honest, like Lucas has like not done one thing. But I mean, that's just typical. My mom and I were already,
Yeah.
just wanting to do this together,
Mhm.
and it's been a blast. We've had so much fun doing this.
That's so cool. Yeah, I know. It is a lot, but it is like your once in a lifetime opportunity to like do all those things that you may have always dreamt about, and putting the color schemes together and like all the tablescapes and like you said, the invitations and everything.
Right. And are
So
you
how would
married,
you
Alyssa?
Yes, I'm married. I've been married for over 13 years now.
Oh my
So, yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. I
When did you get
know.
married? When you were 4?
Oh my gosh, no. Yeah, I've got two kids. I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, so I'm an
Oh
old
my gosh.
lady.
You literally look like that you are 21.
Oh my gosh, well, you're sweet.
That
Thanks.
is well, that's amazing. Congratulations, and a huge
Yeah,
accomplishment. Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, so it's like I have seen it all, really. It like, I got married back when like mason jars and burlap were cool. So it's like, oh, looking back on some of those pictures, you're like, oh man, but like
Isn't it
just seeing how
crazy?
weddings have like transformed, they're so cool now, and there's like so much more you can do, and like Pinterest is around, like
Right.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy, like, because I went back to my wedding planner, was just like, where's your Pinterest board? And I was like, well, hold on. I I don't even know what's on that thing. And going back
Right.
and seeing the things that I pinned, like, I don't know, maybe in
Mm,
2012.
yes.
Um, I mean,
Yeah, you're
awful.
like, "Oh, why? Why?"
Why? So yeah, I'm happy that,
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess as we get older, maybe our sense of
Mhm.
style and taste evolves too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, speaking of that, how would you describe your wedding style?
I would describe my wedding style as, um, definitely a hint of Southern, but not Southern Southern, but like
Right.
Southern elegance, I guess, is a good way to put it. Um,
Mhm.
the colors, obviously, it's going to be in March, so the colors will be very, like, I don't know, like, I hate the word pastels, but
Yeah.
mainly corals and,
Oh, pretty.
um, peaches and pinks. But so
Nice.
yeah, just elegant, chic, kind of like a modernized Southern touch. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds so pretty. It just sounds like so light and airy and like very spring-like to me. So that'll be so pretty. I
Well,
love
start
that.
praying now because honestly, March is a toss up. Right? I mean, Tennessee weather,
Yeah, I
is
mean,
like
you never know.
no,
Yeah.
you never know. Like it snowed a few years ago in
Mm-hmm.
March,
Right.
but there's 5 Saturdays this year in March. I don't know how that's possible. So I just chose
Wow.
the middle one.
Yeah. And that's the day it's gonna be. Yeah, that's good. That's so cool. And plus, like you have a backup plan too. Like your venue like
Yes, which
is
is good.
large
It's all
enough
like
like where if you need to move indoors. So
that was a big plus too, is that
yeah.
there's doors actually attached, like sliding doors, like glass doors to where we're getting married, and then the cocktail hour can be tented in like no time, and the reception barn is
Mm-hmm.
10 feet away.
Oh
So
yeah.
if worse comes to worse,
Perfect.
we are okay.
Yeah, you're in good hands over there. Definitely. That's so good. So, what advice do you have for other couples who are planning their big days?
Hmm. Well, I would say that to be because everyone's process is very different. Like I'm sure that a lot of people's are very different and more complicated than mine because I am choosing a place that all had sort of like preferred vendors and I didn't have to compare and contrast prices. It was all in like a package thing, but still having to go and look up other vendors like the photographer and videographer. But everyone's process is different. So my biggest advice would be to be kind to one another
Oh,
during
yeah.
it. And because like I mean there's times like a few weeks ago, it, oh my gosh, again, it's always something with me. It's always something.
Yes.
If there's something that's going to go wrong, it's
Oh
going to
man.
happen to me, and it's going to. But Lucas just like he just knows that like I mean I it was just this was just like one of the very many days during this process that there was so much happening, so many things going wrong. I was on a deadline, truly up until like the 11th hour on a deadline, and
Wow.
he just is very grounding, very calming naturally.
That's
But
awesome.
during this, he has just been incredibly supportive and helpful when he can be. So
Oh,
there's
that's
going to be times
sweet.
that your partner, your significant other, going to just start crying or screaming, and they're
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
crying about the linens or something. But
Right.
it is all such an intricate process, and there's so many things to do. So I think just to remember to just like take that in consideration with each
Mhm.
other and just enjoy it.
Yeah, that's such great advice. I love that. And yeah, to rely on your partner in those hard times of planning your wedding and, going through all the decisions. It really is sometimes it can be like a hard time because you are just making decision after decision like so quickly and that's not normally how normal life is
Mm-mm.
sometimes. And so it's like just being there for each other and like being each other's rock, I think, like you said, is just really great moving forward with all your wedding decisions. So
Yeah,
yeah. And you guys seem to have been doing a really good job with that too, especially with like all of your travel. Like both of you guys are traveling a lot and that can be hard too on a relationship, but to just know that you guys are there for each other is really good.
yeah.
So, all right, well, we can wrap up. Tell us about the projects that you're working on. I know I'm like, what's your favorite recipe? You're cooking all the time. Everything on your account just looks so delicious. Like, tell us all the
Oh, thank
things that
you.
you're up to.
Well, right now I'm really just focusing on my brand and working with brands. So,
Mm-hmm.
being a full-time content creator, it's like, I mean, you should see my kitchen right now. It is like there is greenery everywhere. There's stools, chairs, there's command hooks. Like it's just
Wow.
wild. But
It's gift guide season, so you are, I'm sure, just,
Yeah,
in
and
the
just
product thick of it. So
and it's the holidays, and I start decorating for Christmas literally in well, this year was like beginning of October.
that's
But
so fun.
it's like my thing. I
Hmm.
don't even take anything down until my birthday. It's like a tradition, which is January 28th every year. So,
I love
but
that.
I am really just focusing on that. It's an all day, every day um, job, and it is fun and frustrating, but I love doing it, and which is all kind of the reason why I did selling the OC is because I wanted to be
Hmm.
in a position where I could be um, making my own money and doing it in a way
Hmm.
that I love. So,
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. And I love the content that you're putting out there. So if you're listening, definitely go follow Alexandra over on Instagram and see all the fun things that she's up to. And so, yeah, thank you so much for coming on today. And thank you just for sharing all about your wedding plans and your engagement. Like, such a fun story. And yeah, this was a fun one. So I appreciate it.
oh, well, thank you for having me, Alyssa. It's been
Yeah,
wonderful.
of course. Have a good one. And best to you. Congratulations on your wedding. Can't wait to follow along and see all your beautiful photos.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedding Reporter podcast. I hope you learned a little bit and had fun today. To find more resources and podcast episodes, visit NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more information. And as always, click the subscribe button and leave us a review. Until next time, I'm Alyssa DeChico, signing off.